Hey guys, welcome to another video on stage 3. I'm Julian.
I'm James.
And so, James, I guess we'll take the floor on this video. We're going to talk a lot about Alita and the don't call it crap. The experiences I had last week with a whole bunch of Alita stuff. So,
Yeah, Julian went very deep in this movie, so I'm gonna kind of like put my reporter hat on and ask some questions. So first off, did you go to see the what was it, the
Passport to
Passport Iron
Iron
City?
City.
Yes.
Yes, Johnny and I went. You probably might see some photos that'll be going through B-roll. But yeah, we we went. It was pretty cool. It was like escape room esque, with a lot of challenges and things like that. You had to think on your feet. It was really cool. Race against the clock to see which team would be the best one because you're put into, I want to say 5 or 6 teams.
Okay.
And so in these 5 or 6 teams, you got to basically try to get as much points to rack up so you can go to Zala, which is like the city in the sky,
Okay.
right? And so you're trying to get into the high mighty class, like you're trying to be in the elite class. So basically, you're fighting for that. So there's different things you can do. So like you can either try to find bounties, you can either go find a scrapyard, find something to do, make karaoke music, things like that, and you accumulate all these points. Whereas at the end, you can gamble about a 50, like 500,000 points to to go in this thing called motorball, which is like this sporting event.
Mm-hmm.
And if your person won, then basically you got the money
Yeah.
and you could see if you number one or not. So that was cool. It was pretty, like I said, it was pretty entertaining. I not reading the manga, not doing any research before going there. It was pretty dope. I enjoyed it.
I kept seeing a bar and a lot of people's pictures said Kansas.
Yeah, the Kansas bar. So that's the thing. When you get in, which is the crazy part, and I'm mad that Johnny and I were talking about this on Matinee Talk. I'm so mad that we waited so late to notice it. But Kansas bar is this lobby where you can all basically go and sit because once you get out of the Kansas bar, you can't really take photos or videos, anything like that. So we couldn't really do much. But you go into Kansas bar, you get to meet your crew, your team that you're gonna be with, and you basically are supposed to be game planning at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So we game plan for 5 minutes, so we don't know any better. Come to find out, in the bar, Kansas bar, there's so many nooks and crannies that helps you in the escape room that we didn't notice it. So you're sitting there for 40 minutes. They sit like you sitting there for 40 minutes, and then you go into the escape room esque part of it for another 40 minutes. And I was so mad after the fact because I was like, if I would have known this, I probably would have known to take notes and stuff
Yeah,
like
I mean
that.
that's probably what they're going for. Obviously, it's like, oh, I should just pay attention to all this stuff. So
They want
yeah.
you to pay attention to details. So, like for instance, for the motorball, like literally, there's these cards that they give you throughout the game,
Mm-hmm.
and they tell you basically who's gonna win. Like they literally tell you in certain cards they're gonna win. Johnny got one of those cards, and he literally put it in his pocket, and we didn't know until after we were driving off. He looked at it, and he was like, "Wow, they gave me the winner right there on my card. Wow, okay, I didn't think of it. All right."
That's pretty cool.
It's cool like that. And then another thing I really liked about it is they actually took sets and props from the actual film
Mm-hmm.
and put it in there and put it inside the little Passport Iron City because all of it was filmed in Austin, which we'll get to later. And it was pretty exciting. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time. It was pretty cool. I'm just mad that just like when you go to the escape room, you're like,
Mm-hmm.
if we would have done this
If
better,
I'd just been obvious, like yeah.
we would have defeated the time. Yeah, same concept.
Okay, so now let's get to the actual movie. First off, flat out opinion, what do you think of it?
It's a James Cameron movie with Robert Rodriguez in a chair, in a directing chair. I'll put it that way. It's a good movie. It's a cinematic experience to take on. I will definitely say that. I would definitely say go watch it in theaters no matter what. But like how I feel about 70% of James Cameron's movies, don't expect a great story, don't expect a phenomenal story. Just simplistic story, start to finish, go from there.
Okay, yeah, because that's something I kind of expect. Like watching the trailer, you kind of get the concept of what's going on, what's going to happen. How, because the thing I've talked about, like watching all these trailers for a long time, it seems now, how
For almost a
jarring
year and
was
a
it
half.
to see when the humans were in the same scene as the CGI.
So that is one thing that I will definitely say improved a
Okay.
lot in the movie. Um, I'm gonna give some insight while I'm talking about this because we did the early screening with live Q&A with Robert Rodriguez, the director, and he was talking about that. He was talking about the fact when the first trailer came out, there's certain like just they weren't finished with the special effects, they weren't finished with Alita's face or anything like that because, as you can tell, a lot of us, even us on the channel, were like, the hell's wrong with her face?
Yeah.
And her eyes are too big. And ironic enough, we're going to talk about this later in the Q&A, when Robert Rodriguez talks about the Q&A. They patched up the special effects. It took them literally 2 weeks before they sent out the reels. Like they finished special effects 2 weeks before, and you can definitely tell it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Like they look really good. And like Johnny and I were saying, there's certain movies where you can definitely tell like, hey, this is CGI and this isn't. Like how I felt with Avatar, the certain surrealism that you get with it, it just looks really good, and it's like almost you can't blend the two together. It was pretty good.
How kind of so one thing that I hate with movies is when they have a love story but they don't need it. Was this kind of one of those concepts? Because it definitely looks like it had that in there.
Yes, again, James Cameron all over.
Exactly.
I I didn't need it to be honest, but it keeps the plot going because it gives her a reason later in the film.
Okay.
I can't spoil that much, but there's a reason why Hugo was his name in the movie, and Alita have this love interest, and then it goes a little further, and it kind of expands on itself later in the film, but like not any spoilers, but you can you could tell like the love story is there, but it's like I don't need it. And I'm gonna say one of my biggest gripes about the movie is Hugo. Like Hugo's like how I feel with almost every romantic interest for James Cameron. The guy's a tool.
Yeah.
He's a literal tool, and I'm like, you literally could have cut him out. That'd have been okay.
And I'm wondering if they kept him in there just for like continuity's sake, because it's like how it probably is in the manga and stuff. But
He is.
it looks like he's hardly in the trailers at all. So I feel like they probably even believe like he's not too important, but they have to have him.
You know, it's funny, and I'm gonna give this snippet. He is important, but the problem is like how I feel with all of James Cameron's movies with the male is being the love interest is like you get a badass female character, but the male is like
Yeah, it's like just douchebag.
is a douche. It's like a
But
douchebag.
not like a person that would just like he's
Well,
yeah.
no, he's not even just. It's like that, but it's also like you don't give him anything to be like wowing about. So on that point, what again, James Cameron all over it. That's why I say I love and hate it because it's like love James Cameron's style and feel, but also it's like again the story and the premise is exact same as James Cameron. Where it's like Alita is the woman that literally is the epitome of good, right? She's the epitome of good. Everything about her is good. All of the people around her are morally ambiguous, and I don't get it. I really don't. For Jennifer Connelly's character and Christoph Waltz's character, I get it. Hugo, for what? Literally, we made him morally ambiguous because we wanted him to be. Maybe it's in the manga that he is, but literally, I just felt like it was padded for no reason.
Yeah.
And again, that's as much spoilery as I'm gonna get.
How cool were what was it Motorball? Is that what the name was? Because the trailers for that, like every time I saw that, I was like, that looks cool. But I feel like there's probably not a lot of it.
There's 1.5 scenes of Motorball.
Sounds about right.
The
Her
scene,
probably seeing what it is, and then her competing in it, probably something like that. Yeah.
I love how you just got that spot on. It's like half of the scene is about her seeing Motorball for the first time, and then a whole scene of her participating in it. And that scene where she's participating in it, amazing.
That sounds about right.
It's amazing. Literally, I'll put it this way: every single action sequence in this film was amazing. All of the action was good. One thing I love about it, and Robert Rodriguez put it in his Q&A too, is like top 10 bar scenes. Almost half of them are James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez. All the Terminator movies, From Dusk Till Dawn's bar scene and all that. And then you could tell like he meshed all of those together with this Kansas bar fight that there's gonna happen. Spoilers, of course, Alita whoops ass. Um, it looks great. Like everything about the action sequences just looks great. And I'm like, okay, I could have dig this.
Big question: is it setting up for a sequel?
Of course.
Of course it is. Okay, I just want to make sure. The crazy thing is this movie's been in like kind of somewhat development and like planning for like a decade almost.
What if I told you it's been for 19 years?
That sounds about right. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Because I mean, they've been trying to get this movie going for a while.
So I'm just gonna say I'm gonna segue to basically the Q&A of Robert Rodriguez, and then I'm gonna give my overall score. Robert Rodriguez was talking about this when him and James became friends in '99. Like after he finished Titanic, like literally they sat down for lunch and was like, "So what's your next plan?" And literally he had the script for Avatar and a script for this, because Alita came out in '92. He got the film rights back in like '97 as soon as he started finishing Titanic, and he didn't do a script until '99. And literally, he finished the script in '99. My bad. Yeah, he finished the script in '99. And literally, this has been sitting in the shelf for almost 20 years.
So when's the sequel gonna come out?
So that's another thing we're gonna talk about in a moment. Hold on, and this is one thing I'm gonna explain.
Okay.
The movie felt rushed just a little bit, and I'm gonna
Like,
say,
he's like, I want to get it out.
well, not rushed in that aspect. More about like we have so much to say about the story, but we cut out a lot, and it felt like that was rushed.
Okay.
And I could tell you why. Literally, Robert, I could understand where Robert was in the moment. He was talking to James in 2005, and he was talking about like how James is really about to start taking off on Avatar, and Robert was like, "So what are you going to do about that Alita project?" And he was like, "Oh well,
I'll get around to it.
I might get around to it. I might not have time, but if you want to take a crack at it, you can take a crack at it." And so Robert was like, "Give me the script." The script was 186 pages. Yeah, 186 pages. You ready? With 1,000 pages of notes with it. James only gave him the 600 pages of notes with the 186 page script. Robert had to cut that to 120 pages.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So literally, like I was saying, it could have been a 3-hour movie that did more detail, but the problem was it's because it's James Cameron. It's not James Cameron under him. 20th Century Fox was like, yeah, nah, we're not making a 3-hour movie. So that's why I felt rushed. But back to what you were saying, I don't know. Wait, I'm sorry, I'm terrible. What was the question?
When the hell's the sequel coming?
Oh yeah. So with that being said, because he cut out so much, there's 2.5. He goes through 2.5 books, and again, 66 pages. That's what I was going with. 66 pages up in the air. I feel like he's going. If Robert Rodriguez still directs it, and if this movie is profitable, they're going to make a sequel. They got to find some way to make it work. But the problem is, I don't think it's going to come for another 5 or 10 years. Because guess what? The same team that did the visual effects for Alita.
Avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every single one is going to do the visual effects for Avatar. Exactly. And all 4 sequels are supposed to be coming out back to back to back. Exactly. So we might not be getting a Alita movie anytime soon. Yeah.
That sucks. Because, like, I mean, I don't get to go to movie theaters often. I'm still interested in going to see this because I think this is, again, one of those movies where you said, like, this is a cinematic experience.
Yes.
You should go see it in theaters. I mean, I did the same thing with Into the Spider-Verse. I was like, I need to see this in theaters. It just sucks that it's probably going to be a long time regardless if this makes money or not, if we ever get one.
And it sucks because, like Johnny and I were saying, the spectacle of it was amazing. Like, you could tell, like, this took some time. It took detail. It took a lot of incubation to get it to where it is now. And it looks good. The final product is really good. Again, I'm not about to sit here and harp that the story is bad. It's just simplistic. Nothing's wrong with that. But if you're looking for a overarching theme or dark themes like the Alita, like graphic novels go through and the manga goes through, I'm sorry to say you're not getting that. But I expected that from a live adaptation.
Yeah.
But this is the best live adaptation of anime or manga that we have gotten. And I know it's not saying much.
That's what I was like.
I know it's not saying much.
Yeah, probably.
But I would say this is definitely a movie you want to go see in theaters and watch it in 3D because Robert said that the exact same cameras that they made for Avatar are these. Because one thing I will say about Avatar is all of these 3D movies we had felt like gimmicks, right? They felt like it was a little gimmick that they decided to add after the fact. The only movie I was like, wow, this looks amazing in 3D was Avatar because he actually built the cameras to do that. I know you never seen it, but this is just for me.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way with Alita. It's one of those movies that if you have a chance to watch it in 3D, go watch it in 3D because it was amazing. It looked great in 3D. It looked amazing. And I would definitely watch it again in 3D if I could.
So overall recommendation, watch it in theaters?
Watch it in theaters. Ironically, I give it a score of 3.5 out of 5. Usually when I say 3 or 3.5, I definitely tell you just wait till Netflix. But this is one of those movies where I say...
It's like 3.5 out of 5, but you still have to see it in theaters.
Yes.
To get that 3.5.
I would say to get that 3.5, to get that experience for it, definitely go watch it in theaters. In 3D. It's amazing. I recommend it. It looks good. Again, don't worry about the story. Rosa does a phenomenal job. Everybody else is sprinkled everywhere else. But other than that, yeah.
And then we might get a sequel in a decade.
Maybe in a decade. Who knows? We might be like Avatar 2. We might not get it till a whole 10 years after the first one.
Oof, yeah. And we'll see if the pan is still hot by then.
Probably not. But well, we'll see by Avatar 2. We'll see how well Avatar 2 does.
That's true.
And if Avatar 2 does well, then I could definitely see that Alita might do the same. Because we didn't get Terminator 2 till 8 years after.
That's fair. Either way. Well, that's Julian's little behind-the-scenes take on Alita, Battle Angel. I really was close to calling it Attila, just for old time's sake. Don't forget to like, share this video with your friends. Subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Follow me and Julian, or Julian and I, if you want to be all grammar-like.
All grammar-like,
On Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Go see this movie in theaters. Anything else?
Please do. 3D preferably, but if you can't, that's fine.
Don't be broke. Don't be broke.
Don't be broke. Go spend the extra $3. Like, y'all can go eat a meal for a week. Like one day. Not a week, my bad.
$3?
You can go fast food for
$3? You get a Happy Meal?
You can go without a Happy Meal for a day, guys. Go watch it in 3D. I have nothing else to say, but yeah, just go support Robert Rodriguez. And this movie was filmed all in Austin. So if you live in Austin, you better go watch it because it was all filmed here. Damn it. But yeah, that's all I got to say. But from all of us here at Stage 3, guys, thanks for joining us. Stay tuned.